Someone from my wife's work sent me an anonymous message about her. Update. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. It's been a pretty wild few days, but I spent some time thinking if I am better off with or without her. And unquestionably, the answer is with. I confronted her about it. We had a pretty big blow up in discussion. She chose me in our family, and told him they'd no longer be speaking in any way beyond a professional setting. They do still work together, and while she's willing to quit her job, this is her dream job and I want that to be an absolute last resort. She told me she'd been really angry and cold because the last 3 years since we had our son have been like we've been live-in roommates, and she's right. She didn't make excuses, just explained why she went looking for someone else to validate her, which he did. It never got physical in any way, shape or form. She suggested that we keep both phones in a neutral location, not the bedroom, and that we don't bring them into the bedroom or bathroom or privately, etc. We bought an alarm clock last night to eliminate that excuse, lol. She suggested we get rid of Facebook too because that is a time drain and takes our attention away from one another. Once we decided that it was going to be worth the pain and the work that it will take to regain trust, grow close once again, etc. I planned a spur-of-the-moment overnight trip to DC, to which she volunteered to leave her phone behind. We had 6+ hours of drive time and countless hours of talking time to hash things out, enjoy each other with no distractions, talk about how to fix things, agree on counseling, talk about our fears, our pain, etc. When we returned, she spoke with him yesterday and officially let him know that things will be strictly professional from now on and there will be no socializing beyond that. It was extremely hard on her, and hard for me to watch, also hard for me to deal with personally. But I'm doing my best to try and be proactive in rebuilding the trust I'd lost rather than sitting back and being a victim. I've chosen to instead demand that she choose me and our family, but to also become the guy that she wants to choose. That she chose once. She made it very clear that she had no attraction to him physically and that she was attracted to the fact that he was in love with her and adored her, when she wasn't feeling adored or loved at home. She has gotten angry as she felt us growing further apart and finally led him closer than he should have ever been, her words. And she's sorry that she ever put us in that place. She's also scared that the changes she's seen in me over the last month and certainly since I first found out last week are fake. She wants to believe, but things have been cold for 3 years. I fell in love with my wife all over again in DC. Remembered all the reasons I love her, and she began to remember how good we are together. I'm not walking forward blindly like a lamb to the slaughter, but I really think with honesty and communication, and some intentionally on both of our parts, we will fix this and maybe even come out stronger on the other side. Here is the second story. My wife and I have known each other since we were kids. Our parents were really close, because we were neighbors, which led to us playing and doing things together very often. So when we were around 6 years old, we confessed our love for each other. Unfortunately, when I was around 8 years old, my parents and I moved to the other end of the town, which led to our families losing contact. So then basically my life continued. Until one day I get a text from an unknown number, and apparently it's my childhood friend. We started dating when we were around 17. We were so in love that we couldn't get enough from each other. This led to her proposing 6 years ago and us getting married in 2017. Our marriage and our relationship before marriage has always been strong and passionate. We both make good money, but she is I guess what you call the breadwinner because she makes a lot more money than I do. We also have a lot of friends, great parents and had a killer sex life before I found out. My wife works normal working hours like 40 hours a week or sometimes a bit more. I never knew that anything was wrong, and I would have probably never known if it weren't for a text her friend sent her that I read. She wrote, "You should probably tell him, because he is a good guy and deserves to know." My wife was in the shower when she got that text, still I was completely unaware of anything. I thought that neither she nor me would cheat on each other. It wasn't even a possibility for me. But soon curiosity took over, and I unlocked her phone and there it was, I saw everything. I found out that my wife had an affair for at least 2 months with a coworker. She broke it off with him around 1 month ago because the guilt was eating her up, apparently. I don't think I'll ever be able to unsee those pictures. Seeing the person who I thought was the kindest, most honest and caring person, betrayed me in such a way. I basically went through all the emotions a BS goes through. But when she came out of the shower, I didn't confront her. I think I was still numb from the shock that I experienced. The next day, I went to her friend's place and asked her to please tell me everything that she knows about my wife's affair. It basically confirmed what I already knew. She had the affair for around 2 months. It was physical for the 3 last weeks, but there was heavy flirting before they had sex. The friend told me she thinks she did it because the guy pushed it really hard, and my wife eventually caved in. I also thought that this might be the case, because my wife was always the quiet/shy type, and the messages between my wife and her coworker basically confirmed that. After meeting my wife's friend, I went home and waited for my wife to come home. When she arrived, I told her what I knew and told her that a divorce would probably be the best way to move forward. She disagreed and started crying hysterically like I have never seen before. She said she would do anything to save us. Her crying really angered me at the time. How can she be so sad if she is the one who betrayed me? After I noticed that I was getting angry, I told her we should continue our talk on the next day. What I got from the conversation is that she apparently has always had very low self-esteem, which is her reasoning for why she caved into the attention her coworker gave her. My wife told me that she has been seeing a therapist after she decided to go NC with her AP and that the therapist has helped her find her reasoning for the affair. The therapist also told her that she should tell me about the affair when she was ready to do so. But she wanted to go against her therapist and take it to the grave. She saw that I was happy, and she didn't want to ruin that. She didn't want to ruin us. So after I had a good sleep, since I didn't sleep the day before at all, I woke up and already saw my wife at our table in the kitchen waiting with a piece of paper. I have never seen her like that. My wife is a very attractive woman, but on that day she looked like a zombie. I guess she didn't sleep much. So I sat down in front of her and asked if she would like to continue our talk. She said yes and took over. She was much calmer now and apologized again and again. After that she begged for another chance and said she would be the best wife ever and blah blah blah. Then she started to tell what she was willing to do to save our marriage. She said that she'd be willing to give up almost all of her income to me. That she would overwrite the house to my name. Let me sleep with other girls while she remains faithful. And she would even help me find them, because apparently a girl in her friend group confessed that she had a thing for me. And a lot more crazy stuff. She talked about half an hour nonstop about what she was willing to do. This really impressed me, and I must admit this reminded me why I fell in love with her. Her determination to do things and the loving and kind side of her. I then asked her why she would do all of these things, and she said that nothing is more important to her than me, and that she will do anything to prove it. Now to the part that I am not so proud of. After all the talking, she came over to my side and initiated, and I reciprocated. This time it was so different. Almost every time we had sex, I was the dominant person, but not today. Our sex life was awesome before, but she never took control, and I thought that was our sex life and accepted it that way. This was never really a fantasy of mine because I genuinely like to dominate. But now I feel like maybe she wanted to do that. And I didn't give her the chance to do so, or am I reading too much into this? Probably. I am under no illusion, and therefore I know that I still love my wife very much. But does she love me? Does she even respect me, or is this all just a charade? How do I know when to trust her? And how do I get the intrusive thoughts out of my head? Just so you know, I have written most of the text a week prior, and we have been living like roommates since. She really tries to make amends with me, but most of the time when I see her I feel disgust, regret for having married her, and sadness. She has told everyone what she has done, and probably now has only 1/10 of the friends she used to have. Even the friends who remain, despise her. Her parents were furious at her, and my mom even slapped her. My life is literally a drama show right now, and I hate it. I don't really know what to do right now. My wife told me that therapy is really helping her and that it might help me. I never really believed in therapy, but I will probably go and check it out. I really want to give reconciliation a shot, but I don't know if I'm just wasting my time. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.